Hi everybody, Levi Clay here, and I'm back again to do another Rage Time video. Yes, the rage will flow. So, I am going to talk today about Arch Enemy, who were absolutely one of my favourite and most influential bands growing up. But in the last couple of days, a story from a photographer went viral online when he posted screenshots explaining why he had been banned from Arch Enemy concerts and photography at Arch Enemy concerts. Now, the article by Jay Salmeron, I've got it here, I have linked that below. I would highly recommend you go and check it out because it's a great story. It's very interesting. I was absolutely compelled while I was reading it, and I'm sure we'll talk about it on the Guitar Souls podcast, but I just couldn't hold off from talking about it. So, in short, what happened was this gentleman went along to an Arch Enemy concert, I believe it was at a festival, and took some photos. One of the photos was a great looking photo, and the singer of Arch Enemy decided she would share that photo on her Instagram. Now, of course, this happens when photographers take great photos. Watermarks tend to be put on photos, but they do get shared widely around so people can see the work. So the artist sharing it and fans sharing it. The problem arose when the clothes designer of Alyssa, the singer's outfit, reposted the image to her business's Instagram. So at that point, it was deemed that it was being used commercially. And I can totally see the argument for both sides of this. When you read the actual post, no mention of, contact me for commissions, and nothing like that was written. So it wasn't an overt advertisement, but at the same time, it was posted on a business's page and it was showcasing the work that they had done. So, at the very least, there's the potential for business to happen down the road. Someone else might see the photo, say, oh wow, yeah, I really like that outfit. Oh, and you made that, cool. I might contact you to commission pieces to be made for my outfit. It's totally possible. Anyway, so Jay Salmeron sent a email or a message to the business and essentially said, look, you've used my image commercially. Usually what I would do in this scenario is I would charge a €500 fee for a license for my work. But in this particular case, I'm willing to waive that fee in exchange for a €100 donation to a cancer charity, which, to be fair, is a pretty noble thing to do. There are many, many photographers and licensors of images that wouldn't be so kind. I have witnessed it firsthand. I have seen news websites use images which are owned by sites like Getty Images, for example, and the owners of the images, Getty in particular, have got in touch and said, you've used this image without a license in a news story, we are requesting payment of such and such a fee. And realistically, it can't actually be argued with because you do own the image. We have used the image. We have not licensed the image. That is the way copyright law on images works. So it was very noble to say, let's just call it a €100 donation. It's a very kind and a good option and should have been taken up on. Now, the designer in question wasn't sure how to go about dealing with this, so rather than thinking about it and thinking what was best, the designer went to Alyssa, the singer of Arch Enemy, and said, look, this is happening, what do I do? Now, it seems that Alyssa has a bit of a temper, and it seems that she might not have dealt with this in the best way possible. So rather than conversing with the designer and dealing with the situation, what actually happened was the designer was told not to deal with this situation at all, and Arch Enemy and their management would handle it. Angela Gossow, not the original singer of Arch Enemy, the last singer of Arch Enemy, and now the manager of the band, contacted the photographer and essentially tried to berate him, beat him down, and say that you not only will you be banned from all future Arch Enemy concerts, but we will be reaching out to all of our contacts in the industry to make sure that you aren't able to do what you do anymore. So almost bullying. Could we say it's bullying? I mean, in my opinion, that's absolutely bullying. Now, the reason I mention all of this is because this was all posted with screenshots in the article on Petapixel. Again, link below, well worth checking out. This is all documented as things that have happened. These are things that were said. This is exactly what happened. Maybe I should just close this up, just by not close it up, but maybe I'll give you the information. What was I was dealing with Alyssa. Sorry, I have everything here. Basically, there's a lot to read. Every Instagram DM has been screenshotted and saved and reposted. There's a lot of aggression in this. So this is from Angela. We have immediately removed the picture you took at Fort Rock. By the way, we assure you don't mind that you are not welcome anymore to take pictures of Arch Enemy performances in the future at festivals or solo performances. I have copied in the label reps and booking agent who will inform promotions. No band wants to have photographers on site who will later send such threatening correspondence to monetize on their images. By the way, the email below was not from Marta, but from Alyssa herself personally, the artist that you blatantly wanted to sell the picture to. Nice price tag, €500. Just outrageous, to be completely honest. And Jay Samurai dealt with this in a wonderful, wonderful manner. Now, the reason I've decided to do a video on this now, aside from it being rather topical, is that 22 hours ago, Alyssa did post a response, and I just wanted to tear it apart. But before I do that, I just want to talk briefly about the legality of photography and banned images. Now, I actually do have issue with the way the law works. To be completely honest with you, I do have issue with the way the law works. But there's a big difference between an issue with the way the law works, like thinking that the laws should be different, and not respecting the laws that are there. Copyright law is copyright law. Whether or not you disagree with it doesn't change the fact that it is. The way I look at a situation like this is, it actually amazes me. Photographers turn up to gigs. They don't pay to be at the gig. They don't pay to be in the pit. They don't pay to sit in the photography pit, take photos of the artist, and then be able to sell those photos. The photographer, don't get me wrong, is absolutely putting in work. They put in time going to the venue and learning the skills of the trade and being able to take good photos and edit them. And, you know, there is a lot. Of course, it's business, right? But they are trading off the image and the success of the person on stage in this particular instance. So if you were to compare it to this photographer taking a photo of me, probably wouldn't be able to make €500 selling the photos. If the photographer in question were to try and make €500 taking a photo of this little alien miniature, probably wouldn't be able to make €500 from the photo. If the photographer was taking pictures of Taylor Swift, probably would be able to make €500 selling a photo of them. Now, why? Is it because the photo is better? No, it's not because the photo is better. It's because the person in the photo has value. The person in the photo has spent years building up a brand to make their image, to make photos of them valuable. It's not the photo on its own that has value. The person in the photo brings value to the equation. So I do actually, and I have always taken issue with that to a degree, because, like I say, the photographer doesn't pay to be in the pit. If the photographer was paying to be in the pit and therefore investing in the band and therefore creating pictures that they could then go on to sell, I'd have less issue with this. But I do, you know, if I was in a big band, I kind of think I would want to be in that situation where I would say, cool, no photography then. No one in the pit. I'm not having people taking pictures of us and then going out and making money on those images, when we could just hire photographers to take photos of us and then we would be able to use and sell those images ourselves. But that, like I say, that's besides the point. It's not the issue. How I feel about the copyright law versus how copyright law is, two very different things. So let me just read Alyssa's response, and you will have to excuse me because I'm going to be looking there while I read it. So I'd love to address you directly, but, you know, I have to read. So I'm going to pick it apart as we go. So Alyssa has written, in early June, I reposted a photo of myself on Instagram from a concert photographer, which is common practice. Now, that last bit, which is common practice, that's irrelevant. That's completely irrelevant. That's a justification. This statement reads exactly the same, taking that out. When you put which is common practice, that is just padding and making your cause seem more valiant. But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter that it is common practice. That doesn't mean that it's legal, and it doesn't mean that it's acceptable. Stop trying to bring people on side with irrelevant pieces of information like that. Deal in facts, and you'll do well. You're not doing well in this situation because you are not dealing in facts. The photo was already posted to Instagram by the photographer himself. Okay, cool. Well, he owns the photo, so he has the right to post that photo, right? I like doing this because it's a way to say thank you and to tip my hat to photographers, and usually there is a nice symbiotic relationship between bands and photographers this way. Again, I'm sure most people, the photographer included, would agree with you on that, but irrelevant, that doesn't mean that you have carte blanche right to do it. His watermark was visible, irrelevant. The photo was unaltered, irrelevant, and he was tagged and credited in the caption, the way we always do it. Irrelevant. And doubly irrelevant when you consider that at no point did the photographer have an issue with you posting the image. The girl who made the outfit I am wearing in the photo, Marta, reposted my post shortly after that. She didn't print it, didn't use it commercially, didn't upload or copy it. She reposted it with a free Instagram application called Get Repost, like many of you do. Okay, cool. She didn't print it, yep, agree. Didn't use it commercially, incorrect. Didn't upload or copy it. Made a digital copy of the image. The image exists in multiple places now, but again, irrelevant. She reposted it with a free Instagram application called Get Repost. Irrelevant, like many of you do. Irrelevant. None of this is relevant. Why can you not get your fucking head around this? I don't get to copy your music and post it places and say, well, I've not taken the original copy away from you. That is how copyright law works. You work in music, you should fucking understand this. Stop trying to mislead people with red herrings. It is completely irrelevant to the point at hand. Let me keep going. She was happy to repost the news that I wear her creations. And then in brackets, one-of-a-kind clothing items we designed together, not a product that you can buy. Sure, but she makes the clothing, and you can request that she makes more clothing. It wasn't posted on her personal page, it was posted on her business page. Business and commercial use tend to go hand in hand, don't you think? Shares it with her followers 99% of the time. This is how the online world functions, like a supportive community, and everyone wins this way. Again, irrelevant. It doesn't matter that this is usually how things are done. Doesn't mean that that's the way that it always has to be. That's up to the rights of the person involved. Not rocket science. Again, if I took your image and just started posting it around and, using it commercially, you'd take issue with that. Shouldn't do though, because that's just how it is on the internet. Often photographers send us folders of photos in the hopes that we like them and we post those, always with their name and credit. We really felt that we were doing just that. You were. That is what you did. And the madness of this situation, when you think about it, is actually not what you did. It's the fact that someone else did something, and then when they had issue with it, you decided to jump in with size 10s and try and do something about it when it had nothing to do with you. And you have completely misrepresented the photographer in question by trying to suggest that they were demanding a €500 payment. Again, the world, and I hate to say this, Alyssa, but the world has seen the email discussion that went on between the parties, and at no point was that ever demanded or requested. It was stated that usually in a situation, this is how I would deal with it. But in this case, what I am going to suggest is a €100 donation to a charity. Again, by taking issue with this, you are just pissing on charities. Essentially, that's what's going on here. It's €100. For fuck's sake, I donate €100 to a charity to get something like this to go away, and I'm not in a band that goes and tours the fucking world, am I? Have some common sense. I'll continue. Or maybe I shouldn't continue. It's a really long statement, but you really get the point. The further you go through it, it's a constant justification, a constant what we did was okay. And also using words like twisted. We were used as a scapegoat. Things were twisted. What you'll notice is that neither Alyssa, nor Angela, nor Archenemy, nobody from any of these parties has made the effort to provide any sort of evidence. They've just gone down the fake news route just by saying that these things didn't happen. It's not the way that it went down. Cool. Show us that. Demonstrate it. Demonstrate that this photographer is a liar. Just do it. It's not difficult. I am happy to change my opinion. Just show me some evidence that that is the case. And you aren't doing that. You're providing the complete opposite. You're trying to pull at people's heartstrings. You're trying to justify. You're trying to twist the situation and have us take what you say on faith. And there is no point in that when, well, I mean, sometimes maybe there is a point in that. But in this particular instance, we don't need to take you on faith because somebody else has presented actual evidence of what happened. In conclusion, no one from Arch Enemy nor Thunderball ever denied paying the photographer in question for the commercial use of this photo. We simply did not use it. You did. Well, no, sorry, you didn't. They did. You didn't. They did. Now, when you read through that, there is some issue. You play two roles. You play the "we took it down immediately," and you also play the "we took our time to decide what to do" card. You can't have it both ways. So the other thing I just wanted to read out was Angela Gossow's comment, post, which is now deleted, funnily enough. A bit of slander happened to us today. Nice alternative facts story. Copy and pasting bits and pieces. As for me, short story, some guy introduces himself as a photographer/lawyer and threatens us, over an Instagram repost. I make sure the picture gets removed everywhere and he doesn't get to come close to my artist ever again. Okay, we'll deal with the next bit in a second, but that's not true, is it, Angela? He didn't introduce himself to you. He dealt with somebody that used his image commercially. It has nothing to do with you unless you happen to be the lawyer for the person that he was dealing with. That person came crying to you because they didn't know what to do. Sad bit. Too many people buy into that story without questioning it at all. They react with pure malicious hatred. In this day and age, with Trump getting into power using exactly that method, shouldn't we be alarmed and be wary of such stories? Sheep. Trump's the president. We fucking get it. Nobody likes Donald Trump. But how is it relevant? How is it relevant? Facts presented. Let's not say facts. Evidence presented. You don't get to sit here and say, without questioning it at all. No, why would they question it? Because they were presented with screenshots of what actually happened. They were presented with evidence of you being a douchebag. They were presented with evidence of Alyssa being a douchebag. And now the entire internet is rallying against you. And this honestly breaks my heart. Well, it doesn't really. Because, you know, Angela, you were one of my heroes growing up. You sang in one of my favourite bands. And that era of Arch Enemy, Wages of Sin, Anthems of the Rebellion, Doomsday Machine, Rise of the Tyrant, that era of Arch Enemy where you have Mike and Chris on guitar is still one of my favourite little time stamps of metal and melodic death metal. Like, it still touches me. And the saddest thing is, the whole band went to shit after that, as soon as Chris left that band, and it's not been much better since Alyssa joined the band, has it? I feel sorry for Jeff Loomis. Jeff Loomis stuck in this situation. Jeff Loomis is a fabulous guitar player, and that's not to say that Arch Enemy doesn't deserve a fabulous guitar player, but he's better than where you are now. He's so much better than where you are now. But everybody, let's look on the bright side, because suddenly Arch Enemy are irrelevant again. Arch Enemy are relevant, which hasn't happened really since Chris Amott left the band. So I guess every cloud has its silver linings, right? Thank you very much to these people over here that bring you videos like this, me raging. This whole situation makes me really sad because I do like Arch Enemy. I don't like any of the new material, but I was listening to like Doomsday Machine like a week ago in my car. I had it on for a good few days while I was driving. I love that record, and I love the way that Mike and Chris played together. They're just, you know, those albums are timeless. Just incredible. If you're unfamiliar, go and check them out. But don't bother with the new stuff. Pirate it. Why not? You know, they believe that you should be paid in exposure. Yeah. So, yeah, just do that. Anyway, if you would like to check me out on Patreon, you can do so by clicking this button up here. You can subscribe by clicking this button down here. You'll see 2 more of my videos here and here. Please do check them out. Thank you so much for all the support, guys. And yeah, keep rocking. Support people when they're being good. And let them know when they're being assholes. Go and let arch enemy know that they're being assholes. They'll block you, which is it's always a sign of someone being the good guy, right? Laters.